Welcome back to the podcast. You heard it here. Pause, pause, pause. Eventually. 3 pauses, no dots to this week. Every
Yeah.
week I got to change it up. Eventually, I will run out. That week is not today.
Well, we can have infinite pauses. The whole episode would just be pause. All right. End.
Pause for
Good
an
episode.
hour. Thanks for watching. But yeah, fun shit planned today. Goddamn crazy shit. You'll never hear it coming until it comes, and then you'll just be dumbfounded. How did they think of that? How do they talk about that? You'll have to wait and find out. What are we doing first?
Let's do Big Titty.
All right. Yours is gonna be shorter, so you go first.
All right. I struggled super hard for a Big Titty this week because your Big Titty was dominating the news
Yeah,
for basically the whole week. Now that we're doing weekly, we have much less to draw on.
I know.
Big things have to happen. We didn't foresee this. So what I stumbled upon after 2 hours on IGN.com probably was finally a trailer for Murder Mystery 2. You don't know Murder Mystery? It was, I think, the first Netflix movie that Adam Sandler did. He signed, I think, a 6-movie deal, and it was the first one that came out. And now there's a sequel coming, and it looks, I mean, it's almost like a guilty pleasure, I guess. Adam Sandler is not the #1 comedy guy in the world or anything.
Yeah.
But I generally find his stuff funny. And I thought Murder Mystery was okay funny. He teamed up again with Jennifer Aniston, which he did in Just Go With It when he had Brooklyn Decker as a love interest, and Jennifer Aniston was basically his assistant as a plastic surgeon and all this stuff. They go to Hawaii because of all this like having to lie, basically contrived stuff. But I mean, that stuff was good. The first Murder Mystery was pretty funny. It's kind of like a humorous whodunit, and I like whodunits, so that might also be why I liked it. So now they have a second one coming out. I'm pretty sure based on the trailer, instead of them being suspected as the murderers for just being there, now they have their own detective agency after the first movie. Stuff went down, and now they're just around when something happens. It's still kind of going to be a whodunit, but with less tension as they're running away from the law. I don't think they will be running away.
Gotcha.
But who knows? It was a 30 minute and a half trailer.
Yeah,
So
I've never
we'll
heard
see
of
how
this
it comes
movie.
out.
So
Murder Mystery 1 was pretty good. It comes out March 31st.
Is it a
So
Netflix
that was my
thingy, or is it a movie theater thingy?
No, it's Netflix only. The first one came out before Netflix did the whole we'll release some of our movies in theaters.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that this one they have the faith in, kind of like Glass Onion, where they do also release it in theaters. I don't think that they would do that for this movie. I don't know for sure, but I know it'll be on Netflix on March 31st. That's what the trailer said.
Gotcha.
I have a mini second one, which is just like that's all I really have to say about that one. I would recommend to you watch the first one. I think it's
All right.
It's funny enough, and it has decent sized names for actors and things like that. For my little mini part 2
Little mini
subtype subsection B, the tinier titty. Sony announced that they no longer have shortages of PS5s. They're just in stock. Like Amazon just has it listed as in stock. There is no pre-order. Like it'll be available in X days or a limited quantity. It's just available.
Yeah.
So this isn't really necessarily like because of Sony, but I think that is a big indicator that microchips and all the other things that have been limited in quantity over the COVID epidemic might finally becoming more normalized from pre-pandemic issues. That's just a little minor win for the world, probably.
Hell yeah.
Probably less scalpers, less inflation on every fucking thing that's technology based and microchip based and all that other stuff. The supply chain is hopefully finally all set up and ready to go. So yeah, it seems like it's a good indicator of that because as PS5 came out like right when that hit. So
yeah. And like with I know there's a bunch of scalpers, and it's really hard to get 4080s or 40 series for GPUs, so that's also I've seen most of those just in stock. No,
Yeah,
no waiting for those, which is cool because I may build a BC soon. Hopefully, we'll see, or not build it, but get one.
get
Um,
one. Yeah.
because I don't want to build it again. But it's just good because I have friends who are very like one of my friends is just diehard Star Wars. He like went to Star Wars Celebration when it came to Chicago. I think like 2 3 years ago. I want to say 2019. I want to say before COVID, but could be wrong. Um, and he still doesn't have PS5. And then I told him that like Jedi Survivor is only next gen, so you're gonna have to get one because he also loves Horizon and he's been waiting to play Horizon Forbidden West. So he's finally gonna get one, which I
A little
might
bit
go
of
with him.
sadness there for the delay.
Yeah. Well, no, he's
Might as well
happy
mention that too.
because yeah, he's happy because he's like,
Well,
I have time to get a PS5 now. But I'm sad because I already have one. I just
yeah,
want to play it.
sadness for most of the other people, like anyone who already had the next gen console, kind of sadness.
Yeah.
Although it's the good reason that we always
Yeah.
say, like, oh, it's a good thing. They said it's to make sure that they have all the bugs figured out before they release it
I
instead of.
just think if it comes out with bugs, then it's just pure sadness. If it comes out perfect, then it's like cool. They took a break or they did a delay for a good reason. If it
I
comes
would
out with
say
bugs,
no game breaking bugs
yeah,
is the benchmark. They can
yeah,
still have minor things, maybe some move glitches your character into a door or like a wall or something like that.
yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
fine.
Something really rare and it'd be crazy circumstances to even get the bug to trigger. That's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's all good. My big titty is, as everyone's heard of, the big announcement from James Gunn about the DCU Chapter 1 called Gods and Monsters.
My God, who
Um,
saw it coming? The biggest news of the week. Oh my God.
we have some movies announced. He said this is not everything, but we're gonna go through and talk about everything that was announced.
It sure seems
Um,
like a lot though.
yeah,
For not being everything, it almost feels like an entirety of phase one,
yeah,
like a phase for Marvel. So
yeah.
if they have more, that's pretty insane. I will
Um,
admit.
so in terms of everything old that was announced, we had Shazam 2, we had Flash, we had Aquaman and Blue Beetle. That was all stuff that was old that we already knew about from the DCEU before it transitioned to the DCU. That's still happening, I think, in that order. Everything else is going to be called Elseworlds. So you have The Batman Part 2, you have Joker, whatever that French subtitle is. Both of those are going to be called Elseworlds, their own multiverse or own universe in the DC multiverse. Um, and they won't affect this, much like they didn't affect the DCEU. They're not going to affect these ones. But it's nice that they have like an official Elseworlds title.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so in terms of releasing, we're gonna have Shazam 2 in March, and then Flash summer, I want to say June or July, and that will effectively reset the DC universe. That's what's gonna change the DCEU into the DCU. So technically, like Henry Cavill and all that, that's all still canon because like when Flashpoint happens, it doesn't like it changes the past for people in the universe, but for us watching it, like everything still led to this moment. So like if you want to watch the DCU, yeah, you can start at the Flash. You could also start back Man of Steel. Um, and that's how Flashpoint works. Like it changes some things, it doesn't change everything, and that's always how it's been. So that's why you can make the excuse like, oh, why is Henry Cavill changing, and why is Batman changing, and why is Jason Momoa still Aquaman? That's probably why, or that's what I assume they're gonna go with.
Yeah,
Because yeah,
I
that's another
will.
thing.
I
Aquaman
obviously have
2
thoughts.
is coming out after, which is that's why it makes it a little weird. But
Well, you have Zachary Levi who said he's not officially done, or there's no official word from the powers that be that he's no longer Shazam.
yeah,
And basically, based on what I read, the only two people who are out are Ben Affleck, which everyone fucking knew he was out,
yeah,
and then Henry Cavill gets shafted. So
mm-hmm,
obviously, I'm opinionated about that. I don't need
yeah,
to go back into it, but they really shafted him
yeah.
and they say that he just wasn't hired, and it was like the former regime at WB. Well, sometimes you take over a former regime and you just gotta deal with it. This is one of the things that they should have dealt with. That's all I'll say about it.
I do think also Gal Gadot is up in the air.
She's up in the air, but they've approached her, and if she's open to doing more projects, they said, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
So she's gonna be the same. Aquaman will probably be the same.
Oh, Peacemaker's the same, I think. Amanda Waller's the same
Yeah,
because we know that for okay. So yeah, um, so in terms of new stuff, also they said everything is gonna be connected in terms of. I don't think he said comics. I don't
he didn't
think
say comics. There are four
so.
things. It's films, television shows, animation, and games.
Yeah. Um, so I think what's really cool is like the first thing that he announced is an animated show. He said they're gonna come out of live action, go into animation, go into games, all same voice actors, all same actors. Everything is gonna be the same about them, which I think is really cool. Because Marvel has started to do that with Disney Plus shows and all that, but even in the Disney Plus shows in Phase 4, they sort of only like they dipped a toe in it. They didn't get too comfortable. Like it seemed like they were a little scared. All we've really seen, I want to say, for a character that was introduced in Disney Plus and came to live action or came to a big screen, I want to say is the twins in WandaVision.
I feel like, yeah. Well, I feel like that might just be a result of how contracts work in Hollywood because people contract for a set number of movies, not the TV shows.
Yeah,
So it's like a separate contract, and they didn't have Disney Plus when a lot of these people signed on. So I mean, I'm sure
yeah.
there's nuances to it. James Gunn has the advantage of like
He
all these
saw
streaming
how
platforms
the
are
yeah
established.
yeah he
You
saw
can do this.
and he
You know?
knows that, like, that's one thing that I think is working well for Marvel, so he's like, "Well, let's just start with that." So it seems better just because like, Marvel was, like, testing stuff, and they're like, "Ah,
Yeah,
it worked," so
the one part that's definitely gonna be hard, and I've read a couple articles about this, is the gaming piece
I
because
think
delays in
easily
gaming,
yeah,
they
but
can
I
be
think
way longer than delays in
unless something
movies.
is, like, very, um you need to play like, let's say, like, Superman dies in the game, which he wouldn't, but let's just say Superman dies in the game, and then obviously because the game takes place before he's dead in the next movie, unless it's something like groundbreaking, changing the canon like that, I don't know if it'll matter too much. Also, I feel like you can just say like, "Hey, this game's Elseworlds," and then
Yeah. Yeah, you can just throw a game into Elseworlds or whatever, and having that established, like, precedent, it works for him. I mean, the example he used was Crypto the Superdog.
yeah,
Like, obviously a side thing that no one's gonna really care all that much about if they
yeah,
missed his origin or how he came into Superman's life.
yeah,
So, things like that. But if we're talking, Arkham series, if
yeah,
it was made now and that's canon, that seems pretty important to
yeah,
have to play. So, you don't want movies to be hinging on games releasing because games going through development hell
yeah.
are way more tougher to get to right the ship
But
than
I also
movies,
feel like
so
you can't. I don't think you can put anything super important in a game anymore. I feel like only because yeah, if you're a fan of movies, most likely you're a fan of TV shows. And if you're a fan of TV shows, most likely you're a fan of movies, but not necessarily for gamers. Like
yeah.
someone could love DC, never play a
Animation
DC
is also
game.
up in the air probably.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
So
you lose some of your audience when you go to animation because even if they are the same voice actor or the same actors voicing their characters, it doesn't feel like has the same impact. It doesn't really feel like the same universe. He's probably trying to change that here.
yeah.
So we'll see if it works out for him. But
Like that's what I was
there's
scared about with
it's a
Loki. I was
risk.
like, nothing important's gonna happen with Loki because they're not gonna do anything groundbreaking because people just might not watch the show because they only go and watch movies. And then the multiverse broke in that show and it caused everything bad to happen that's happened in phase 4. So there's that.
Mhm.
Um so yeah, who knows. But in terms of newly announced stuff, we have something called Creature Commandos, which is an animated one. Um Team of heroes, anti-heroes, misfits. I never heard of before, but seems cool. Like all the characters seem cool designs. There's someone who looks like Frankenstein. Some lady who looks like a
The Grundy?
more oh, maybe it is Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy, yeah.
Um, there's some lady who has like the Marge Simpson with the white streak in the hair.
That one I don't know, but it would obviously be Solomon Grundy's wife because he's a play on Frankenstein, and that sounds like Frankenstein's wife.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it just says written by James Gunn, which
How
most of the
many of
stuff
these things aren't? He said he's writing
yeah,
basically all of
he's
it.
doing
So,
Superman Legacy too.
like Kevin Feige,
He doesn't
he produces
yeah,
all of it and he directs the story, but he doesn't write all of it. So, I mean, it's probably actually going to be better and more cohesive that if he writes all of it himself.
yeah.
But at the same time, how much can you do? And he's doing
Mhm.
it so fast. It is. I mean, you can always do rewrites and things like that as time goes on. It'll evolve and stuff. But
Yeah.
he's basically writing the entire thing by himself. It seems like it might be too much to really ask of one person.
Yeah. And maybe, he'll get out of chapter 1 and be like, "Chapter 2, I'm taking a Kevin Feige role. I'm taking a back step," which is fine.
Yeah.
Um, next is Waller, which, Um, it's a live action TV. I assume coming to HBO Max unless DC gets out of that contract and they make their own. Um,
Well, they're part of Warner Bros. And Warner Bros.
oh,
Owns them.
yeah,
Like, yeah, so it's definitely going to be on that one.
yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be called Waller, which will follow Viola Davis, so she will be the same after um
I mean, she's kind of in the
Flashpoint.
Peacemaker part of
Yeah,
things, which we knew he was going to keep the same because that was his show.
yeah, and his wife is a casted in that.
And his wife is cast in it. So that's some of the comments on Twitter are like, yeah, protect your wife's job, I guess, right?
Yeah. And then it also says, will follow the events from Peacemaker Season 1 and include some of that show's characters and will act as a bridge to a still planned Peacemaker Season 2. So that right there basically confirms the Peacemaker stuff. Um, and then we have the one we knew about, Superman Legacy. He says this will be the true beginning of the DCU.
Because it's the first movie after Flashpoint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue Beetle, no. I think Blue Beetle's after Flashpoint.
Oh,
But it's like the first one, the first newly announced one, I believe.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, it says basically all it says is written by James Gunn. We know the release date probably will be delayed. The one thing we know is it won't be an origin story.
It's in
That's all it says.
2025 anyway, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no. That's the Batman one.
No, this is 2025 too.
Oh, okay.
They might both be. I'm not sure. Um, honestly, one of the most exciting ones for me personally is Lanterns. It's going to be an HBO show. I think live action. The one thing that's a little weird to me is we're going to get both Lanterns at once. We're getting Jon Stewart
Oh,
and Hal Jordan at
and
once,
Hal Jordan, yeah.
which is cool. Just like in terms of origin, I think it's usually like Hal Jordan's first and then Jon Stewart comes later. I'm fine
The
with that.
Ring, yeah, the Ring picks Jon Stewart after Hal Jordan like falls from grace or whatever in the
Yeah.
comics, I feel like.
And
But
I
that's
think
also my favorite
afterwards,
part of this whole announcement thing is
yeah,
Lanterns. It
yeah.
seems the coolest.
Because they said it's gonna be like a true detective type show. Which I've never even seen the Ryan Reynolds one. I just know it's bad. So
Well,
it's
True
exciting.
Detective, they jumped timelines. It was like in the future, someone telling the story of the past. So maybe Jon Stewart is like in the present, and
Oh,
the Hal Jordan stuff is they're showing the past. Like the Ring is showing him. He's following clues as the Ring shows him what Hal Jordan did. So
that'd be
you're seeing
cool.
Hal Jordan, and maybe you see some the things from his perspective and stuff. That makes it even more exciting, to be
Yeah.
honest. But like just thinking about it for myself. But
Yeah, I just got the
that is the
chills.
single number one announcement for me from the DCU is
Yeah.
that.
It says the mystery at the heart of the show will tie into whatever larger story the DCU is planning forward, which with the subtitle Gods and Monsters, that makes sense. Um Next we have the one called The Authority, which is another film. It says the Authority is a team of superheroes so dedicated to saving the world they'll do anything to fix it. Um, Gunn specifically mentioned the Authority will interact with all of the primary DCU characters, so expect this one to be something of a crossover, or at least expect the Authority to start making other appearances after they're introduced in this film. I think they're like I'm trying to think of a good example. Maybe like, I don't know, Omni Man, like, but not even really. Like, just I'll kill anything to save the world type thing.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe some more as like an anti-hero. Um,
It's almost like Suicide Squad then.
yeah,
Just at a super powered level, because Suicide Squad's never really like Superman
yeah,
fighting level people, you know?
yeah. Then we have Paradise Lost, which is gonna take place on Themyscira, and it's gonna be like a Game of Thrones show. He's compared it to, which it's gonna be taking place years and years before I think Wonder Woman was born there. But
Hmm.
um, that's cool.
I
Then we
mean,
got
gods and monsters, that makes sense. That's where you would introduce the gods,
yeah,
like the Earth gods.
like Ares. I think he's a big part in the comics.
Ares, Hades, all the like Zeus, all of them are big
Yeah.
parts, I think.
Then we got the big news, which is the Batman movie. Uh,
Brave and the
which
Bold.
The Brave and the Bold, and it's gonna be a father-son movie with Damian Wayne and Bruce Wayne. Damian Wayne being his Robin. And he said this will also be the beginning of the Bat family in the DCU. The one thing that's weird to me about this is Damian Wayne is always like the last Robin. It's always like you got Dick Grayson, who then is Robin, becomes Nightwing. Then you got I don't know the order of the next two, but you have like Tim Drake, who has some other alter ego later. You got um Jason Todd, who ends up becoming Red Hood, and then you even got Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, Oracle, whatever. And then after all of them is usually when Damian Wayne comes. So is it like are we just never gonna get their story? Are we gonna get their story in flashbacks, animated shows? I just don't know how they're gonna do that.
I don't think that it would be a big deal if Damian Wayne becomes the first one, and then over time other ones
That's
enter.
what I said. But then it's like the thing is he never becomes anything else as of right now. Like he never has a second alter ego, and I don't think it would just be weird to have two Robins.
Yeah, but I mean, kill him off.
You can't kill Damian Wayne. He's the goat one.
Sure you can.
He's
Well, I mean,
also
like
I'm
you
excited
have,
because he's like League of Assassins.
yeah, he's already apparently. I think I either read this or it was part of his announcement or something. Damian Wayne is like already a trained assassin.
Yeah,
So when he's Robin,
because he's
so
Talia
he's
al
already a
Ghul's son.
badass.
Yeah.
But it's funny because the thing I remember about the thing I think they could do is I love this show, Batman Beyond.
Oh
I love
yeah.
that show, and the main Batman guy turns out it was Bruce Wayne's son also. So they could do something that somehow they bring in Batman Beyond. Maybe
Mm,
like evolve Damian Wayne's story and he becomes a villain because he's League of Assassins.
mm-hmm.
It's not really a stretch that he would become more evil or jaded over time.
Yeah.
And then you have, I forget the dude's name, but you have Bruce Wayne's other son, and then they basically have to like go toe to toe.
Mm.
One Batman trained, the other one assassin trained. So,
Also, the other reason I don't think that he would just be the first, is because he said that it is gonna tease the beginning, or it is gonna be the beginning of the Bat family. And to have the Bat family, I feel like you need to have Nightwing, you need to have Batgirl. Like all these people have to already be established for the Bat family to be a thing. If you just have Batman and Robin, it's like a Bat parent. You're not a fam. I mean, I guess you're a family, but you know what I mean. Like you're not like you don't have this like group together.
mm,
So I
yeah.
feel like it'd be cool if like Nightwing made an appearance. Um, but yeah,
I just
I
don't think they have to be established already. I feel like they could also just come in at the same time.
no,
Like
yeah,
just
that's what I'm.
evolve the
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
Maybe
but
they
it,
all none of them start as Robin. They just start as their alter egos.
yeah. Um,
But continue. You said you were going to say something else.
no, I was just moving on to the next one. The one that I'm like
Oh.
very excited for, Booster Gold. I think that's like hell yeah. Like this dude is just he's a cool guy. It's gonna be
He is funny.
an HBO Max series. He's from the future, and then he basically comes back to the past. He time travels back to our time, our present time, and then he uses all of his future tech to make it seem like he's a superhero in the past, our present, but obviously he's a fraud. And then that's where the story picks up from.
Yeah. Booster Gold is a funny ass character. I am surprised that he's part of this like first chapter.
Yeah, like when you think of like a chapter one of like any cinematic universe, you think like establish your roots. So it's like
Yeah.
establish your Iron Mans, establish your Captain Americas. This is like fuck it, Booster Gold, and I'm
I
I'm
feel
here
like he'll
for it.
be the Ant-Man
Yeah,
of he'll be the comedy of the whole first chapter
give
or
me
of
him and Peacemaker duo. Have Peacemaker show up in one of his episodes. Peacemaker's a hilarious show,
yeah.
so I'd love to see that. Um, Next is I'm excited for because the other Supergirl series movie got canceled. I'm excited for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which is just basically what if Superman grew up without love because Supergirl grows up on like a rock of Krypton and then
Mhm.
comes to Earth instead of just going straight to Earth. So I'm excited for that one. Supergirl's always cool. I love the show. Eh, I liked the show in college and then I stopped liking it. But it was fun for what it was. I love the characters. Supergirl as the actress for Supergirl was great in that show. Um, so yeah, I'm just excited for that one. Uh, I think that's a cool character to put in your chapter one. Um, and the last one is Swamp Thing, which I heard. I don't know if this is true. Maybe not. I thought he was saying that this is gonna be Elseworlds, but I don't think so now.
I don't think so.
He said, oh, that's what he said. It says looks to be a true horror movie that even James Gunn admits is tonally outside of the rest of the DCU. I think that's what I took as I think I just heard outside of the DCU. Um, but then he says though it will still connect to the rest of the larger franchise. But yeah, overall, he said this is not everything. This is just the beginning of chapter 1 of the DCU. Um, the only thing that has a release date is Superman Legacy. Everything else doesn't even have like a year. So
No,
I
well,
don't
I thought he said Batman was supposed to come out in 2025 also. Feel
I
like.
don't see that on this list, but this list could be wrong.
I mean, I could be wrong too. Obviously, that's
I
probably
just
more
think
likely that I'm wrong.
as a whole, right? James Gunn has one job, and it's to create a universe, and it's to get people to come to the theater. And I think this is a good step towards that. Obviously,
I
Superman's gonna bring controversy, but I think like as a whole, for everything that was announced, it's a net positive.
I really feel like if they want to establish it, they should do the Superman movie basically last,
Yeah,
as late as you can, because you want to avoid that controversy. You want to let people let it fade off. I mean, it's going to be 2 years away already, but you want to let it fade off. You don't want to start it and be like, "This is the true start of the DCU. Let's bring up this whole Henry Cavill controversy again right away, and have a bunch of people not go to our first movie and set the
yeah,
tone of this franchise is going to kind of, or like this DCU is going to crash and burn
yeah,
potentially." I would do like Lantern Show first. That sounds so fucking badass.
yeah.
Or even Batman Brave and the Bold. The only concern I have with that one is don't release it anywhere even close to the Batman 2.
Oh yeah, which
Because you
that
don't
has
want
a
to have
release
like
date.
two.
Yeah,
So that should be fine then. It won't be anywhere close. But like even in the same year would
yeah.
be totally
Because yeah,
a
like
flop, a total bad idea.
we're smart, and we know like this isn't the DCU, but like some kids like I want to go see Batman, and their mom doesn't, that mom or dad, their parent doesn't know what's happening. They're like, is this related? Is this not related? Like casual fans might be confused with this.
Yeah.
Which
Just
yeah, the
releasing two
Batman
movies for
is
the same character in the
2025.
same year.
The Batman 2 is 2025.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of for the
Yeah.
2025 thing then probably. So, yeah, just don't release them anywhere close together. 2 years apart minimum, I
Yeah.
think would be pretty good.
Um, but yeah, so that's all DCU positive. I think it was my big today. Um,
It does seem cool. I'm wondering how much a chapter encompasses because you would assume chapter a chapter would be like a phase from
yeah,
Marvel. And
yeah,
they're always going to be compared to Marvel, so there's no way people are going to be able to get away from this comparison.
yeah,
If James Gunn is like don't compare us to Marvel, not going to happen.
yeah.
So is chapter the same length as a phase? Because if it is, then it sounds about as long with what we have announced as a phase from Marvel. The only thing I could see them adding is more animation.
Yeah,
Maybe just shoehorning in some games. If they have some that they're basically, he'd have to start them now. He'd have
yeah,
to go to game studios and be like, you have to start these. If Warner Brothers owns some, which they do, or if he could even convince them to start new studios and like recruit talent, you got to get that engine moving right
yeah,
now if you're going to have them release anywhere within chapter 1.
yeah.
Um so that's like one of the challenge he probably faces with that, but would a chapter be like a 3 phase of Marvel? Because would it be like
Oh,
would
like the
chapter
Infinity
1
Saga. Yeah.
yeah, would chapter 1 been the first saga
Well,
versus whatever. So that's
so
going to
Phase
be
One or Infinity Saga lasted from 2008 to 2019, so 11 years.
yeah.
Phase 1 was 2008 to 2012, 4 years. Phase 2 was 2013 to 2015, 2 years, and then
And
Phase 3.
phase 1 it was when they first started the studio.
Yeah. So
So you got to factor that in too. You
things
know,
were
they
up
were
in the air
waiting to
already.
see if
Yeah.
Iron Man did well before they even greenlit more Marvel projects. So
Yeah.
that has a little bit of a lag time built in.
Um. Oh wow. So Iron Man came out in May of 2008, and then Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, boom, June 2008, and then after that there was a 2 year gap for Iron Man
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
But then yeah, Phase 3 was 2016 to 2019, so another 3 years. So I don't know. DCU or DC chapters, we're just gonna have to wait and see just how long they are.
Yeah,
If this is
Yeah, the whole thing is like maybe he's gonna add a ton more movies and TV shows, but then it would basically mean that it's saga length.
Yeah.
If it's supposed to be about a phase length, the amount of movies and TV shows he has encompasses a phase,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
I think he might have like a one up his sleeve, and that's why just to say like, hey, this isn't everything, without or making it seem like it's a lot more when really it's just like one.
See, the one that I would hope would be up his sleeve would be Martian Manhunter.
That'd be awesome.
I've always loved him. I've always loved that character. The whole storyline for that character, I've always loved. So that would be the one I would be like, please have that up your sleeve.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It
Because
would
he's
fit right
usually
in.
in
They did
Justice
so
League too.
much. They're doing otherworldly stuff. Aliens, all the other stuff are coming in right away because they kind of have to, because all the really super powerful people in DCU seem to be not Earthlings.
Yeah, I mean, there was the boss of the Suicide Squad was a starfish.
Yeah, yeah. Extra dimensional or totally extraterrestrial beings are
Yeah,
the staple. Like the number one hero in the world is fucking Superman. He's not a human.
yeah,
So you have that tone. So Martian Manhunter would fit right in.
yeah.
I would also really like to see. I know they kind of did Doctor Fate. I would love Pierce Brosnan to be Doctor Fate again,
Yeah, he
and
still
like
could
just
be.
keep that. He
Yeah.
was so good. He was the best part of Black Adam, I think.
I still haven't seen that movie. I'm
Well, it's on
missing
HBO Max. If you
3
want it
or
now.
2 DCEU movies. I know for sure I haven't seen Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, and I haven't seen Black Adam, and I want to say there's another one I haven't seen as well.
I don't know what.
So I'll probably see them eventually.
Well, they're on HBO.
Yeah,
Easy to watch just whenever you want.
yeah. But yeah. So some more stuff. This one, so I added this to the docket because we're not free balling today. We got a talking point list. I added this one to the docket and then it got rescinded, which I think we could still talk about it. Is Netflix's anti-password changes. This is a bunch of bullshit. I hate it. I think it's so stupid. So basically, the TLDR, well, before I even start, the TLDR is this isn't happening. They did say yet at the end of their statement, but they were like, this is a mistake. This isn't happening yet. So it's probably happening eventually. But basically, what they're saying is the only way you can share passwords is if on the main Wi-Fi where the account exists, you log into the Netflix on that Wi-Fi or on that IP address.
Mhm.
So like I use my sister's. I can't log my TV over there every month. So basically, I have to get my own for whenever it happens. But it's just dumb because it's like, yes, I have to get my own, which I'm fine with. I'll pay for my own. But then I move out, my mom has to get her own. Why? What's the point that like all of us have to get our own accounts? Think about like college kids. You're at college for how many months of the year? 8 months? Like
I
you
bet
just
they'll do college accounts the same way like Amazon Prime has college accounts and things like that. Maybe they'll add that to their system.
I think yeah, that's like the biggest thing. If they add that, like yeah, it's still dumb because I have to get my own, but like it's reasonable now. I just think it'd be dumb to expect everyone.
I think it's just gonna. I don't think it's as big a deal as people are making it out to be, just because you just change the way you watch. Instead of watching directly from your smart TV app, you cast it from your phone. You take your phone over to your sister's house. You know,
Yeah, I guess.
like you can do that stuff. So
But my
I
mom's
also
not
don't know
tech savvy
how.
enough for that.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if like not yeah, a lot of people that they're trying to fight this on are going to be the people that aren't tech savvy enough for it. But I think the people that are tech savvy, which is more and more people in the world,
Yeah.
they won't be nearly as hindered by this as some people think. I don't know the exact nuances to their system, but there's also a way someone could probably set up like some sort of, I don't know if it would be a server, but basically a remote desktop in to their house, and then it's
Mm,
on their Wi-Fi. So if it logs the device, then you could do it for your phone. You could do it for everything except like a smart TV, and
yeah.
maybe there will be instructions for how to do it on smart TV. I just think there's going to be a lot of guides on Reddit and online
Yeah, that's
for
true.
how you can keep account sharing, and it'd be like foolproof systems. You just have to teach your mom, or like
Yeah.
you have to do it for her maybe. But if as long as you're not so far away that it's just a hindrance, once a month visiting your mom, not a big deal.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
not
true.
gonna be. It's not like, I don't think they're gonna double, triple, or quadruple their subscriber base. I think maybe they'll get like a 1.2 like times increase.
Yeah.
as there are people who probably account share across the nation. Like
That
if
makes
it was
sense.
me and you, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
You can't mail me your phone once a month, you know.
Hmm.
But as long as you're in the same state or within driving distance, it's not going to be as big of a deal for me
Yeah.
personally. I think.
Yeah.
I also say this being the owner of the account,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I own like, I think if there's like, I probably own half of the streaming services that I use, and all the other ones I just get from people. Um, but yeah, that's it. I just think, I don't know. No one else cares. I think that's the other thing. It's like, I think Netflix is just like, we're losing subscribers and we're not making money anymore because it's like
mm,
no one else cares. They're canceling a bunch of shows. I saw like, I don't even know what this show was. It was called like Warrior Nun or something. But
yeah.
the fact that it got big enough for me to see it on my Twitter when I'm not on Warrior Nun Twitter means it was trending big. And like the fact that they're canceling all these shows that people clearly enjoy, and the fact that they're like, oh, we've never canceled a successful show. It's like clearly you are. That's why like I'm excited for One Piece, and I genuinely think One Piece live action could be very cool. I still think they're gonna cancel it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that one goes. That one's still up in the air. Warrior Nun was. I think they just had a really outspoken fan base who
Oh, it's
was.
like the diehards, but like it's actually a bad show.
I can't remember if it's supposed to be a bad show or not, but I think for the most part it got really hyped up because of the diehards, not because it had
Oh,
like Wednesday level numbers and
oh,
they canceled it or something like that. I think it was like an outspoken minority on
gotcha.
Twitter. I mean,
Yeah, I
not
don't
on
know. I
Twitter,
just
but like on social and stuff.
yeah, I just saw it and I was like, what is this? I never even heard of the show. I didn't
I
care
had
enough
never
to
heard
look
of
it
it either,
up.
but I saw news articles about it. Like it was in my Google Cards or my alerts, and I was like,
Mm,
Warrior Nun, what the fuck is that? So I did look it up on Netflix. I mean, it's still there.
yeah.
The thing about Netflix is, I don't think that I think they should say, they should just say there's no new season greenlit. They should change their strategy. And yeah, it's like a scummy way to do it, but don't ever officially cancel something.
Yeah.
Just say we're not going to produce a new season at the time, but there's hope in the future. Just
Or
say that to all the creators.
give the writers like a season to tie things up. Some of these shows are
Yeah,
ending on just loose ends, and it's like, what's going on? It's
yeah.
just like, I don't know. It's just so dumb.
I mean, it happens in TV, but you're not TV. Like it used to
Yeah.
happen for networks and stuff, but you're not networks. You don't have
Yeah.
these kinds of like budgets and stress. And Netflix is still making a ton of money. I think the reason they're doing it is because they launched or they are launching an ad supported tier
Yeah.
and they want the ad revenue. So they
Oh,
want people to say, "Oh, you can't account share anymore, but we have this really cheap level plan that you can get your own account. You're just going to see some ads."
gotcha.
So I think that's what the play is. It's not really necessary to increase their subscriber base as a way to make income on subscribers. It's a way to force everyone who was just account sharing and doesn't want to spend money on Netflix to pay for the $4, $6 a month tier where you get ads.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Um, but yeah, I think my top one. I love Hulu. I don't know why. I just Hulu's my goat. That's the one
Probably because
that
it's owned by Disney. It's like Marvel.
maybe, but but Disney Plus is. I would just love Disney Plus then. But Hulu, I like the selection. I like the UI.
Well, that's the difference, isn't it? Though selection, like
Yeah,
Hulu has a ton of stuff. Disney Plus isn't going to have like Modern Family
yeah.
loading up on it.
Which this man is making me wait. I'm trying to keep watching Modern
I've
Family.
been watching it.
Where are you?
Uh,
Next
Jay and
week.
Gloria are pregnant.
Next week, you need to be done with season 5. We're gonna do our second
That's
rewatch and review.
unrealistic. That's unrealistic for me.
Fine, 2 weeks. We're gonna do our second rewatch and review.
I'll try.
Um, but anyways, controversy time. This is the new segment on the podcast called the Controversy Time, where we just talk about. There's controversies every week. I got 2 this week. Um, the first one, we'll do the shorter one first. Basically, the Streamer Awards, which is a yearly, started last year, but it's happening again this year. Yearly award ceremony on Twitch, hosted by Cutie Cinderella, and a second person. Changes every year, I suppose now. Um,
It's the second year, so let's see if
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
Um, Well, we know it's not the same first person. The first year it was Maya. We know for a fact it's not Maya this year. She just said she hasn't announced the second co-host.
Yeah.
Um, but basically they tweeted that like, hey, come one, come all. We want to do an animation contest. Um, for the Streamer Awards because they had an animation last year called Peepo Goes to the Streamer Awards, and it was a cute little animation of the little frog boy interviewing streamers and stuff. Um, and so she was like, make an animation. I don't know what the actual rules are because I didn't click into the Google form, but it was basically like, make an animation, submit it. You might get chosen. If you get chosen, it plays at the Streamer Awards, and you get money. I don't know how much the prize was, but you get some sort of money and you get the exposure at the Stream Awards. Played to, I think last year she capped at like 300,000 concurrent viewers at once on Twitch, which is insane. So assuming it gets that much, insane amount of people to see your animation. People got heated, like crazy amounts of backlash from that. Um, and basically they were like, they don't think that the amount of work for a maybe getting the money and maybe getting the exposure is worth it. And I just don't know. I think it should just be like don't enter then. Like no one is at gun there's no gun to your head. No one's saying you need to enter, just don't enter. Cuz I've also seen like animators who are like I don't care. I wanted to do this and now they can't do it. So I feel like it's like yeah, majority of the people were upset, but there were some people who really wanted to do it. And I'm on the side of people who really want to do it. It's like just the people who are upset just don't do it. And it's done. Don't enter.
Yeah. I don't understand. I don't understand where the anger comes from. Really, the maybe. If they're harping on the maybe, it's a contest, and they can only
Yeah,
play one. It's an animation. It's not like it's just an image that they can show everything up on the screen over a course of like 10 minutes.
exactly.
It's an animation. They can't. They can't play. They can't spend hours doing it. They. I mean, what she could do is she could play all the animations for all of the nominees after
Yeah.
the awards. Fine. And I mean, obviously, no one's going to be watching anymore. No one's going to care that much.
Mhm.
But then maybe if it's really good, IGN or Game Radar or some news outlet picks it up and says, wow, this one was really good, or rank the top 5 or whatever. It's something they could consider as a way to get around this controversy. I personally have no problem with contests.
Yeah.
I've had contests as part of my life before. I mean, I play the lottery because I want to win $700 million for free, basically. So this is like hitting the lottery. It's like hitting the jackpot basically at Vegas. Maybe it's not billions of dollars, but let's say you win like a $10,000 jackpot. It's still
Yeah.
that's a big win. So for having the chance to get that kind of exposure, yeah, I don't think that there should be any kind of
Yeah.
I don't think there should be any
And
backlash
the
to
only
it
argument
whatsoever.
I see, which she did end up doing, she tweeted, "All right, needing to going to need an animator for the Streamer Awards. Drop your portfolio slash work below." Is yeah, like animators could just do that, and instead of making I don't know how long it takes to make an animation. Let's say 10 hours. Instead of making a 10-hour animation, you already have all these animations done. You just submit one of those. She looks through it, says, "Hey, I like your style." Boom, gets hired for the Streamer
Yes,
Awards.
I think picking one submitting is fine. What they're doing is they're just putting a ton of extra burden on her and her team to
Yeah,
try and look through a whole portfolio to pick someone. They're just going to get burned out, which means that you actually have less of a chance of winning. If you're not one of the first dozen or so that they look through the whole portfolio of, probably not going to get chosen.
yeah,
Once they see someone who's passably good, they're just going to pick them instead of giving if they did the contest, everyone who got submitted would definitely guaranteed get their animation watched from start
yeah,
to finish, and then they'd have a fair shot. Now what you're doing is probably having thousands, I don't know how many, hundreds, even having hundreds submit their portfolio. It's impossible.
yeah,
We have randos who come in and say, "Hey, you need some sub badges or some emotes. Here's my portfolio."
yeah.
Just looking through one, and that's
So
just images, not even animations,
yeah,
is a burden to me. I mean, I probably would like all of them.
yeah,
So I can't do it myself. So of course I'm impressed by the fact that you can do it at any level.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I
I
think they
think
really shot themselves in the foot, except for whoever wins, whoever
yeah,
gets chosen. Then it worked out for them.
yeah. I think that's a controversy that I don't think needs to have been a controversy. And honestly, same with this next one. Um, so basically, Mr. Beast, love him, hate him, don't care, uploaded a video saying, I don't remember what the exact title was, but it was basically curing blindness for 1,000 people. These people, 1,000 people, I mean, a bunch of people in the US have curable blindness. You do like a 45-minute procedure, literally, they can see again. And people got mad. And one argument that I saw was about the thumbnail, which I think is just dumb. Basically, he edited fake tears on someone. Who the fuck cares? He needs to make the video clickable. It's probably an emotional time. To say that no one cried during it is just foolish. They literally cried in the video. I watched the video, so that's dumb. So we're not even going to talk about that. The thumbnail controversy is stupid. Um, my friend brought it up to me. Very anti-billionaire, very anti-Mr. Beast person, which I am obviously anti-billionaire, but like I don't know. His argument was no one person should control who those 1,000 people are, basically.
So
Like,
you want it to be some sort of lottery system where every single person is
well,
in there and they get chosen at random instead?
I don't know. It's just like
It's
it's
like the Hunger Games, but in a good way.
yeah, but it's just like I don't know. It's just so confusing to me because it's like 1,000 people. Like it's not like he's because I will say not all of Mr. Beast's videos are doing good, right? Like he went to Antarctica for a video, kind of a mid video. Nothing cool happened. He named a mountain Shopify because they sponsored the video, and it's like, oh, if you climb a mountain before anyone else ever climbed it, you get to name the mountain. He said, I'm gonna name this mountain Shopify. Dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. That's a dumb video. This one, I just don't get how you can see it as bad. Like, yeah, he didn't cure blindness for the government or for the whole world, but 1,000 people lives are probably changed now, like permanently. I just don't get how it's seen as a bad
Yeah,
thing.
and there was no one hurt.
Yeah.
Like the people that were blind didn't get picked. They're living with it. They've
Yeah.
been living with it. It seems almost like a Doctors Without Borders kind of thing, where doctors donate their time and go do things for free in third world countries. Not everyone in those third world countries gets stuff done by Doctors Without Borders or like WHO or whoever runs these things.
Yeah.
But some people are lucky and they get chosen. They're in the right spot at the right time. I mean, the world's not perfect. The world's not fair. Mr. Beast has the money to do it, and he did something good, and now he's being punished for it. It doesn't. All you do is demotivate people who would also do the same thing. So maybe there's another 1,000 people who are now not going to get cured of blindness because someone said, "Oh, Mr. Beast got a lot of backlash for this. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I could do it, but nah,
I
I don't
think
want to deal with that."
the only emotion that because like yeah, obviously you can feel like happy that this happened. You can feel mad that this happened. And I think the middle emotion that I felt is like, why is this a thing? Like, I literally watched this video. I didn't even know curable blindness was a thing. Like, how can there be this much curable blindness? Like, it's insane in the world. Like, I don't even know. I don't
I
know.
also did not know until just now that there was blindness that was curable. I
Yeah,
knew there was deafness that was curable with the implant,
yeah,
the cochlear implant, but there's a lot of deaf people who grow up and then they say that they don't want to do it because they have a whole culture
yeah,
around the like they have a whole society basically
yeah.
like where they interact with like other deaf people. They do sign language stuff. Their whole life is built around being deaf. They don't want to change it
Hmm.
even if they could hear, you know. So
Um.
blindness, I feel like if I had to choose between being deaf and being blind, I would definitely choose deaf. I
Hmm.
feel like I could live without hearing stuff, but sight is important
Yeah.
for like movies. Subtitles exist, like movies, anime. If I miss the sounds, so be it. But I still get to enjoy all these like experiences.
Hmm.
But you know, there's no way you can't like just listen to an anime and know what happened.
Yeah.
You know, that's like kind of like how I feel. So curable blindness is a lot worse than just choosing to remain deaf. I don't think anyone would choose to remain blind
Yeah.
versus people. There are people who definitely choose to remain deaf.
Um. Just some. These are some of the or some of the opinions or some of the tweets from the people who were upset at this video. I will cure your blindness on the condition I get to film it and exploit your emotions. Also, it's good for my business. Join us next week on Mr. Beast when I dangle $1,000 in front of some homeless dude and say he can have it if he tells everyone to like and subscribe.
Did he show all 1,000?
No.
Yeah, so there are some people who said, "Don't show me."
Or there's like, I just don't think. I don't know. The
It's
dude
hard to
who,
put yourself in their shoes, but I
yeah,
can't imagine myself saying I don't want to be filmed for this. I would love to have that kind of like
I'm like, go
thing
follow
filmed.
me on Twitch.
I would want it. I would personally want it immortalized so that I could go back to it myself
Yeah,
and see my reaction and like see my life before and after and these other things, see the reactions and remember forever the permanent reactions of my loved ones and things like that.
yeah.
It seems like something you would want immortalized in film.
The dude who
So,
goes by Mr. Beast, I don't know his real name, could just simply pay for people's surgeries and not film it for content as an exchange. If he was truly doing it to help people, he wouldn't monetize the content. It's gross and highly manipulative. I said what I said. Again, like, because, okay, let's say all the money he made from this video goes back out into another video where he cures something else or does something else to help someone. Why is that a bad thing to monetize this one then?
yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
Like,
The reason he can do this stuff is because he monetizes things. So
yeah,
it would just take away his ability to do these things.
yeah,
Like I don't see the benefit for anyone de-incentivizing something like this happening in the world, basically.
yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me that you would argue against it and you would
Some people
basically
say like, oh, he's doing this to avoid paying taxes because it's like not his money, it's his sponsored philanthropy money, his own charity. He's using the charity money to then not pay taxes on it, but it's I don't know. Like that I could see the argument for, I guess, but even then I don't think that outweighs the pros of 1,000 people's lives being changed
yeah.
forever.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think I can't imagine myself ever saying like no, don't do something good in the world because you would also benefit.
Yeah.
It's like saying if you do good, you have to not benefit from it. That's not that doesn't incentivize anything.
Like
There's
I
tons
just
of good that's done because every party benefits.
like I just for some of these people, I just want to ask like if you had this or something else that in another video he cured or he offered you $1 million, like let's say post taxes, you got $1 million. So he gave you like 1 point, I don't even know how much. And he wanted to film it. You really are that petty that you would say no? Like I truly doubt that anyone would say no to that. And maybe
Yeah.
that's the problem. Maybe what they're saying is the problem is he's so rich and he can give so much money and I have nothing. So the problem is really with the world and not so much his videos, I don't think.
I think people are just jealous of him.
I mean,
I think it just
probably.
boils down to people who just want to complain about stuff because that's what people do now.
Yeah.
They just
I mean,
complain
yeah.
about
I
shit.
also think like people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, like no one needs that much money. No one needs $1 billion. And Mr. Beast is up there in wealth. I don't know where he is, like what his exact net worth is. So I get the anti-billionaire argument. I just like throw all that out the window. Specifically, this video, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at him compared to other billionaires, if he is a billionaire or whatever he is, he's at least doing some good.
Yeah,
Jeff Bezos might set up a charity under Amazon, not under himself. Like a lot of these billionaires out there, they're just selfish. It's for their family, it's for their money. I in the world that we have, I can't personally fault them for that. You have a lot of really rich people who are saying things like I'm not going to when I die, I'll pass it on to like I need my fortune to grow my fortune. When I die, I'll pass it on to charity. My kids won't get anything really. They have to make their own way in the world.
hmm,
You have some people who just come from old money and they pass it on to their kids and they're just old money, rich, spoiled people.
yeah,
It's the world just is set up so that those people can exist. It's something you can cry, shout against, rail against the gods that it happened, but you can't really change it.
yeah,
Nothing's gonna really change. We're not gonna have some sort of global government that takes over the world. It's not gonna be like in Futurama where there's a president of the world and everyone falls under the same laws and everyone has these restrictions and things like that.
yeah,
It's just unrealistic to think that, and I think it's just people basically throwing tantrums is what it sounds like to me.
yeah,
They don't have enough money to do it. Maybe there's a little bit of personal bias where maybe there is something that they need surgery for, can't afford it. How come he's not doing this for me? And then so they just find something to complain about and throw like basically vent. They're basically venting, it sounds like to me, on social media.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Go
with
to a
it.
therapist. I don't know. Twitter's not your therapy session. I mean, it is
It can be.
because it can be,
Yeah.
but
Um, but yeah, that's it for controversy time. Controversy time. Join us next week for more internet controversies. Um, I think these next two are little quickies. E3, I think I didn't look this up. I just saw you added it. Is it just that Nintendo's not showing up? Or
Nintendo,
Nintendo,
Sony, and
Sony, Xbox?
Xbox,
Frick it.
none of them are showing
I
up.
don't think they showed up for the last couple of years.
It's well, no, they didn't have the awards. They didn't have the show for the last couple of years. The last time they had it was 2019, or in person. The
Oh.
last time they had an in-person convention was 2019. E3, the ESA is hired the people who run PAX to
Mm-hmm.
throw this convention this time. So they're making big changes. So that's really what I was going for there. So they're changing the show. We don't know all the changes. It's, behind the scenes, BS. There are some developers that are happy with the changes I've read. There are some that aren't happy with the changes that are happening. The people don't know if it's the new company. I forget the company's name. I'm sorry. Maybe you can find it. Whatever new company is kind of running the show. They don't know if it's them doing these decisions or if it's the ESA that's kind of forcing them into these decisions, kind of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the biggest news is that Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are not going to be at E3. I mean, they're obviously the big three.
Yeah.
If you're not going to have any of them, is the show even worth? Is the convention even worth a 4-day extravaganza kind of thing?
Yeah. I think for
So,
people going in, it's definitely a change for us who just get our news online, and Sony's gonna have their play of state, Nintendo's gonna have their Nintendo Directs,
and
Xbox gonna do
Xbox has
some whatever.
the weekend before they have their own convention that they've been planning forever.
Oh,
The
yeah.
news was initially Nintendo and Microsoft were interested. Sony never was.
Yeah.
And then now they've both backed out for their own reasons. Xbox, because they have their own show that they're putting on the weekend before at a convention center in LA, and they just can't. There's no point in saving some things a week to announce at
Yeah.
E3 or to have anything like that. So there's not going to be anything new. There's no benefit to them to doing it. And Nintendo, I don't know why Nintendo backed out, but Nintendo probably backed out because, yeah, they just prefer the Nintendo Directs or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They think that Nintendo Direct is the way to go and engage with their audience fine.
And let's be real,
But
Tears of the Kingdom is coming out like in May. What are they gonna announce after that? They need a break after that one.
yeah, I know, maybe DLC.
Yeah.
Well, they always have properties. Maybe that. When is the Mario movie coming out?
Before that too, April.
Like April, right? Yeah, they could do like a tie-in game that they might have had in the works
I want a
where
new
you actually play
Mario
that
game.
story.
I think like freaking what's that one game? Bowser's Fury that came out was so short and it was so good.
Well, it was always intended to. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be like an add-on or something
Yeah,
to some
because it
other
was just
game.
it was 3D World that came out on the Wii U. That when it got ported to the Switch, it got Bowser's Fury tagged on. That was a fun ass game. I want like another one of those, another one of Mario Odyssey. Give me something. Also,
Yeah,
mini update. Listen, y'all, SpongeBob Game of the Year. I beat it. Game of the Year. I had more fun with that game than I did with One Piece Odyssey, which is just so sad. Like it's
yeah,
happy for me because I think it was a great game, but like how is that? How did that even happen?
yeah. I don't know. One Piece
He's
Odyssey. Ugh,
he's
I don't
still
even want to talk about
struggling.
it.
He's still struggling through the game. I beat it,
I mean, I
luckily.
wish I played. I wish I played. I wish I. Yeah, I don't wish I had the time to stream at 7 days a week. I like balancing it out a little bit, but I do wish that I was playing the game faster. That's why I've decided side quests don't give you experience. Fuck them. I
Listen,
don't need any
I
money. I
think
don't
you
need any
also say
accessories.
frick once you beat Dressrosa specifically, say frick the memories as well. Because after you beat Dressrosa and you go into the final dungeon, once you get to a certain part of the final dungeon, like a memory opens up in Alabasta again for some reason, opens up in Marineford and opens up another one in Dressrosa. I did like none of them.
The only reason I even did the ones that were in Water 7 after I beat that was because I want the crew moves.
Yeah,
I
and
want to have those available to me basically.
those are
But
cool, but I was at the point where I was like, this is the final dungeon. You can't be giving me more side quests. Like
I
I just want to be
barely
done.
use those crew moves,
Yeah.
but it's nice to have. It's nice that they're board wide attacks. That's the only benefit to
I
them.
think the best one is like you do the first one and bond move is the one that I use the most to move if you still have enemies on in your area.
Yeah,
You
but I don't even use that. I just switch the crew member.
no, yeah,
Like
no,
if I
but
want
I'm saying like if like there's situations where I've used it, but like I think that's the one I've used the most more than any other ability in the
Well,
game.
yeah, if you need to move to a zone that has no enemies, or you need to move out of a zone with an enemy when it's the only enemy
Yeah.
because he's gonna totally fuck you up or something like that. I can see using it then, but otherwise I just switch. Like if Sanji's in a different area and I need Luffy in that area, I just switch them too. I
Yeah.
don't even need to use the bond move. But yeah, the E3 stuff. The only other thing I want to say about E3 is I used to really love E3. I used to look forward to it
Yeah, didn't you used to
every
do
single
videos
year.
back in the day?
I did. Well, I did the I think some of the first videos with my face in them on YouTube were my reviews of the big three press conferences for one
Yeah.
of the years of E3. Where like who did I think won E3 that year, and I wrote down all the announcements and things like that. Basically, what we do now, I just did it on my own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Uh, but I used to love it. I used to like watch it on G4 TV when that was a thing. I used to basically spend all of Thursday and Friday of E3 at work watching it, not doing work. I am gonna miss that. I
Hmm.
think that I think E3 has a chance to come back, and I do like having one premier convention where a lot of things get announced by all the companies, everyone from the gaming industry shows up. I like the concept of that. I don't really like too much this everyone does their own thing because then they're on different timetables. Sometimes, I mean, they could conflict with each other if they really wanted to compete directly. Like E3 kept them to, they all had to do their own thing on a set schedule. They couldn't overlap with each other.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just miss E3. I was always a dream of mine to go to E3 and just
Hmm.
walk around the show floor for the 4 days.
Yeah.
Basically, I have to replace that with Comic Con San Diego because I've been to New York Comic Con a bunch. So,
I've never been to
or Penny
either.
Arcade Expo or something.
That'd be cool. Go to San Diego. When is San Diego Comic Con?
I think it's in like June or July or something.
Yeah, July.
Hey,
That'd
when
be
this
freaking lit.
podcast gets big enough, we'll get press passes.
Hell yeah. That'd be cool as
And me and
shit.
you
Hell yeah.
tearing up the town, baby.
That's step one of our plan to rule the world.
Yeah.
Go to
Of course,
Comic
we
Con.
immediately go back to dictatorship,
Hmm.
as is our style.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Um.
I hope it comes back. The end of it all is I hope that it comes back and it kind of goes back into its glory days, and all the big companies decide to go and take part in the show. Maybe now that it's going to be in person again, and they know they're going to do it next year, and they'll be in person again. Maybe now the other companies won't put on their own stuff.
Yeah.
I imagine it costs more to put on your own thing.
Hmm.
You have to rent out the convention space yourself. I imagine if you go through E3, a lot of that cost is eaten by them, and you just get a set like time allotment.
Hmm.
Maybe you can't do as long of a presentation as you want or something, but you have 4 days to fill in the other gaps.
Yeah.
So I know. Oh, that was what Nintendo said. Actually, I think is that they just didn't have enough content
Oh.
to justify an E3 presence
Yeah, because I mean,
because of
think about
Tears of
how
the
long
Kingdom coming out.
their directs are. They're like 20 minutes some days.
Yeah, yeah, and they probably don't want to announce their whole year's
Also,
slate.
honestly, I think Nintendo does the best. They don't even have a stage. It's literally just a YouTube video where the dude is like on a green screen. He's like, "Here's what's coming up next," and then a trailer plays. That's all you need.
Yeah,
Maybe the COVID has rotted my brain, but I don't have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with it either. But I do like the big shows where they have to kind of try and compete with each other.
Yeah.
It basically forces them to announce things earlier than they might have wanted to
Uh-huh.
because they're competing for who wins E3.
Yeah.
Who that used to be a big thing every single year. Who won E3
But like the
between the
thing is,
big
like,
three?
let's be real. Like, a lot of good games come out from like Bandai Namco, and they're still probably going. THQ Nordic, Ubisoft, like all those companies, I think are still going.
Ubisoft always had their own press conference. I don't think they would ever do it without E3. So yeah,
Yeah.
EA usually had their
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
press
So like,
conference.
I think it like
Bethesda used to too, but now they're under Microsoft.
yeah. I think it like gives a way to let these smaller who aren't even really small, well like smaller than the big three, gives them a
Yeah,
little bit room to shine.
yeah. Penny Arcade Expo is like for indie developers, so that's their time to shine.
Hmm.
E3 should be, and it has been historically mostly about these smaller publishers, these mid tier publishers, where they wouldn't otherwise have a convention where they can showcase their coming lineup and stuff.
Hmm.
but there always was the presence of basically every console in history was announced at E3,
Yeah.
right? Like it comes up on stage, it's like holy shit, that's what it looks like. Now it's just like, hey, here's
Here
some
it is.
schematics online that leaked, and then yeah, we'll have our own state of play later where we show it on this stage. But I want to have like 1 year where Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft all announced like a new console.
That'd be
Big
sick.
fucking high oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Quality, not quality, but
High octane.
showmanship. Like big showmanship stuff. Yeah. So I just like that like culture. I just want to see
Yeah.
it. So I want E3 to make a comeback. I don't yeah. And I'm sure there will still be big publishers there, and we'll still get game announcements, and we'll still get news like at a condensed rate, much faster and all packed together.
Yeah.
That week we'll have a great podcast,
Mm-hmm.
But but yeah, as it is right now, it's just kind of like halfway rising from the ashes, I guess.
Yeah. Um, and we are at about an hour 5. We could do this last thing, the question of the week that you
Yeah, we
wrote.
just haven't had one in a while, so I
Yeah.
wrote that one down. I've been thinking of a few.
Um, the question of the week this week is what game/show/anime was the biggest disappointment to you personally?
Yeah, like what was hyped up? What did you get yourself hyped up about? And then at the end of the day, it was just like a big flop, or you absolutely hated it.
Um, top of the head, because I didn't really think of this. Um, I just think the fact that Bleach is not all at once is very upsetting to me.
It didn't have to be. It didn't have to be new. You'd go back.
I know, I'm just because like I didn't think of anything. I
Yeah.
guess like
Well, I
Tokyo
can do mine.
Ghoul's, yeah.
Like for me, it was Jack and Daxter: The Lost Frontier.
Oh yeah, that's easy. You.
Like the game is tagged as Jack and Daxter. I mean, you can almost do One Piece Odyssey, similar kind of thing.
Yeah.
It feels like a game where they just used an IP to get sales, but it was a terrible game. And if it wasn't One Piece, if it was just something else, Odyssey, not
Mhm.
an anime, like their own from the bottom floor up, they built their own world or their own characters, it'd be more understandable that this game wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Jack and Daxter: The Lost Frontier, same thing, except that one in particular, since there are other games that existed before it in the series, it didn't have the same feel. Like they tried to go back to collectathon, but not really, and they tried to introduce the aspect of shipbuilding and at that being a main part of the game,
Mhm.
but it just didn't feel like a Jack and Daxter game. So for me, because that's my favorite game series of all time, it was a huge disappointment because I was like, oh yes, a new Jack and Daxter game. Maybe it's not Naughty Dog, but at least they're continuing the series, and maybe we'll get more games. But the game sucks so bad. Of course, we never got more games.
Mhm. Um. Well, I looked up a list just to refresh my memory. Distracted or off topic, but was Devil is a Part Timer season 2 bad? It's on this list as a flop.
Yeah, I was also gonna go. Devil is a Part Timer season 2 is not nearly as good as season 1. Same thing with Shield Hero.
Oh really?
Shield Hero season 2 has absolutely none of the same feel as season 1.
Dang.
It's shorter. It goes to 12 or 13 episodes compared to the 25
Well, they
first
also
season.
announced like season 3 before 2 even started, so that could be why.
Yeah, I mean season 2 and 3 were greenlit, so I guess they broke it up. But
Yeah,
my god, it doesn't have the same feel at all. Like they're
that's
going, I don't
unfortunate.
know. You never watched it?
Not season 2.
Yeah, Shield Hero season 2. You should watch it, and then you can just so you can agree with. I mean, it's not like so bad that you shouldn't watch it, but they're just I don't know, it's just going way off the rails.
I wonder if it's anime only changes or just it gets bad in the light novel.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Um, okay, yeah. So for me, Bleach is definitely one. And just like the show's good. I think it's just the release order that's upsetting. Um, Marvel's Avengers, I guess. I was excited for that game. That
Yeah,
wasn't that good.
that'd be number one for a lot of people, I bet.
Also that just got announced to be no new content.
Yeah, they're taking it offline at some point, probably too. They're taking a bunch of studios are taking a bunch of things offline in the
Yeah.
near future.
What else? What else was disappointing? I don't know. I feel like all this stuff that would be disappointing to me is just like I just look it up beforehand, or like the
And
news.
also, yeah, I mean, like, what do you hype yourself up for, and then you experienced, and it wasn't that great. Like
Yeah,
Shield Hero,
One Piece Odyssey for sure. I'm trying to think of games from like back in the day that I don't remember as much.
I thought maybe there'd be like a Kingdom Hearts game somewhere in there for you or something like that.
No, I mean I really like them all, except like the mobile ones. But like you can't have hype for mobile games. Um, oh, I mean this isn't really like a disappointment, but like I guess a little disappointed. I just hated the promo for 3, and I hope 4 really changes it. Like I had no hype for any world in 3 because I knew every single one. They showed every single one in the trailer.
Hmm.
Like, give one world to be a surprise. I guess no, they even showed Scala ad Kylum or whatever, that final world. They showed everything. So it's like, do something. I guess that's a little disappointing. Um, hmm, hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Uh, what the fuck? I'm thinking of like early PS2 games. What did I play? I played Tekken. All Tekken games are goaded. I played Kingdom Hearts. All Kingdom Hearts is goaded. I played Jack and Daxter. Lost Frontiers bad. Um,
Unbiased opinions here only.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to think like there might have been like a Naruto game somewhere in there maybe that I was disappointed by.
yeah. You also just
Um
don't like fighting games, so most of those you're not gonna like.
yeah, no, but I wouldn't hype myself up for a fighting game. That's
Yeah,
why. That's why I didn't throw like One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows on the
yeah.
list or anything like that. Um
One of the games breaking my stream record.
of
I
not
never,
having
yeah,
finished it.
I never went
Yeah.
back and beat it.
Yeah. That's like a video that I get the most clicks on because I did the clickbaity title
I
as an
told you.
experiment,
Mm-hmm.
and I still get comments on it to this day, like, "Oh, how'd you do this? My attack doesn't do nearly this much and stuff." I'm like,
Just
"Who
be
cares,
better.
dude? This game is going offline, or it's offline already."
I guess just
Uh,
again disappointed in Attack on Titan. Just why are you releasing it? Why is this season 6?
you're like disappointed by announcements,
Yeah.
like
That no,
strategies. I was
that's
the
the thing. That's the thing is like my hype is killed the second that there's a bad announcement. So that's what kills my hype.
yeah, yeah, I get that.
Like
I'm thinking more like, yeah, like if you really loved, I don't know, God, like let's say God of War 2018 game of the year, and then God of War Ragnarok was like a big stinker.
yeah.
You have no way of knowing until you played it, and it was like, oh, god damn it. So like kind of like the One Piece Odyssey stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not a question to leave for the audience for sure. Like, what was the biggest disappointment? What were you hyped about? What was it? Didn't even have to be. It could have been a new IP that looked really cool, and then it was,
I guess
even if it
Forspoken
was,
for some people potentially.
yeah, apparently that's not that great. But
A
yeah,
little
yeah, thinking like
stinky.
new IPs that are exciting. That, like for example, was it Skull and Bones has been in development for like 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and it's finally gonna come out this year. We think if that game is not amazing, like wow, are they gonna have lost a ton of money on this fucking game?
Yeah.
Um, like let's. I'm trying to think like if there were movies. For me, I also Aragon movie and the Percy Jackson movie.
Mm-hmm.
Big fucking flops for me.
Yeah, big hot dukes.
Um, Artemis Fowl movie, that Disney Plus only one, was okay. It wasn't as bad as I kind of expected it to be. I thought it would go the same way. But like Aragon made a ton of changes from the book that just didn't make any fucking sense. Percy Jackson, the whole point of the entire fucking first 5 books is that there's this prophecy that exists. It was not mentioned in the first movie at all. Like, are you kidding me? So there are a lot of things where, and a lot of those things, that was the problem is now in the internet, you read a review first and you go. Like, those were things that
Yeah.
kind of released before you would think to yourself, I'm going to look up reviews for this online first, then go.
Yeah.
It was things that I hyped myself up for. I went to the theater and then I was just disgusted by what I
Here's the thing
saw.
also. It's like if the Disney Plus ones suck, that's crazy. Cause like you had a chance, you saw what went wrong, and now you're giving it a second try for both of those series. So it's like if those are bad, they're gonna be even extra bad.
Yeah. I mean, no Alexandra Daddario is going to be a killer. The perfect Annabeth. I mean, she's perfect. Just put her in every movie for every role. and then throw Silence in there, of course,
Yeah, he
as
needs to be there.
Zeus.
Yeah.
But she's not Zeus, but she's every other character for sure. And you know what? Just make her take her shirt off or something. Who cares? Whatever.
Who
You know.
cares?
But and don't you know what? One of the problems they had with Percy Jackson the first movie was they aged up the kids, and I mean, of course, you kind of have to. They're 11-year-olds that are engaged in mortal combat to the death with
Mm-hmm.
otherworldly creatures and stuff. But that's the audience, and I don't even care. Make it more kid-like. That's fine. They age up eventually. I
Yeah.
mean, Percy Jackson is like going to college when Magnus Chase series is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Let the characters evolve over time. Let them start young and grow up
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Ugh. So they had a lot of missteps with those series. So yeah, I'll definitely add those to my list. Both of them were mega disappointments.
Yeah.
Mega, mega,
Oh, I
mega,
guess like
mega disappointments.
freaking Star Wars Episode 9. That's
You got
big.
hyped up for that, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 8. One I remember I loved 7. I don't care what anyone says about 7. I loved 7.
7 was like the nostalgia boner because he did so many of the same tropes from the
Yeah.
first trilogy or from the first 6 movies.
So that one I loved. So then going into 8 and 9, and then they were just like, and then it was just like bad. That's I guess my
I'm
more
pretty
recent one.
sure 8 was the one where they had just a total like messed up timing and pacing of the movie.
Yeah.
You go to that gambling planet, basically Las
Mhm.
Vegas, but a planet for like
Yep.
45 minutes. And it all ends up being useless or something in the
Yeah.
end. Like, I mean, the characters don't know that. And yeah, of course it would happen in real life. It's realistic to some extent or whatever. But I mean, my God,
Make it like 15 minutes or something.
they did like all these ship battle things, the nuances of can we catch them? We don't have enough fuel, kind of stuff. No one gives a shit how much fuel you have in Star Wars.
I
No one
know.
ever sees a gas station in Star Wars and sees the price or whatever. Like, like the coolest, but I mean, it was one of the coolest things ever when they do the light speed ramming, and
Mhm.
it's like, how is this not a problem with regular light speed? How do you not go through planets and explode them? Like, what? What are the rules of light speed? It
Mhm.
really makes a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of universes like that, they have all these unwritten rules or understandings.
Mhm.
So those wouldn't ever be disappointments for me, but um, there are always plot holes,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah,
And
I wouldn't
9
consider
was
any of
just
them a personal disappointment.
9 was just bad. Bringing back Sidious, dumb. Making Sidious her grandfather, dumb.
Yeah,
Making her be like
I go ahead.
kiss Ben at the end, dumb.
And it's like some forced life transfer thing, basically like Game of Thrones kind of bullshit.
Yeah. Her at the end
Um,
being like, I'm Ray Skywalker, dumb.
I would say 8 was probably my biggest disappointment. I'm not saying it's you know a big disappointment, big disappointment, but having Luke being all jaded and giving up on the Force and stuff, just
Yeah.
unrealistic, total bullshit, total so stupid,
In the books, he's
horribly
like
written.
literally like the strongest with the Force ever. He should have never given up on it. He can like move
Yeah,
planets. He can be Thanos the planet.
yeah, it that part of it never made sense.
Just because he got
So
a little sad his freaking nephew left. Get over it. The Force, man.
yeah, I mean, there's also no way that if he killed all those people or whatever, there's no way Luke couldn't have stopped it.
Yeah.
He was powerful enough to stop him. He just like that's also an unbelievable aspect of the story. This kid who's coming to terms with his force powers, the strongest Jedi in history, can't stop him. Like, come on.
Yeah.
He projected an afterimage of himself light years across the fucking galaxy and
But he
still
couldn't stop
basically
him.
went toe to toe with him without ever being hit. Like, if he was there physically, he still was not hit.
Yeah. That was a little hot stinky dookie. But
Yeah, they played kind of fast and loose with the when you become one with the Force kind of thing too. Like he
yeah.
catches the lightsaber in 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yoda calls down a lightning strike. That one's more unbelievable because that's like the Force did it.
Yeah.
But like Luke is literally physically catching the goddamn lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I could see that one being a big disappointment for a lot of people. I mean it clearly. I mean it was a big enough disappointment that people said don't make any more fucking movies, and then they're like, okay, we're not gonna make any more movies right now. We'll take a step back and reevaluate our plan with Star Wars.
Yeah. And other shows are doing good, so
Yeah, I think it's probably going to become about time for a movie that's an episode number. I just think that they really, really, really need to have one person write down and control the whole thing,
yeah.
and not necessarily like for the rest of time the way that we're doing with DC and Marvel,
Just this trilogy.
where these, but yeah, just each trilogy or what, however long you want the saga to be, one person controls it. Do like a Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings kind of thing.
Mhm.
Film it all at once.
Yeah.
Film it all at once and release them 1 year apart if you want to do a yearly release thing, because that's honestly more fun for me than waiting like 3 years between each movie and then having to rewatch the first one to get all the details and stuff. I like the way that Lord of the Rings was done. I think that should be basically the mainstay of Hollywood
Yeah.
conceptually when you have a series. Maybe not a 7-book series. Maybe not a series that's still ongoing, but if you have a finite number and it's manageable. I mean, Lord of the Rings filmed for like 13 months.
Mhm.
It's not unmanageable to do 3 movies worth of filming, at concurrently all at once and
Yeah.
have all the characters consistent, make these actors stay in character that whole time. They're not doing other projects.
I think
So,
that's what Avengers did for uh Infinity War Endgame
yeah,
because
I'm
it
pretty
was
sure they did.
originally Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure back then they did do all the filming at once.
Yeah.
Maybe like reshoots happened. Those
Yeah.
always happen, but
Um
yeah.
but yeah, I think we're at about an hour 20. Gonna do it for today. So yeah, thanks everyone for listening, watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, not on Apple Podcasts. One day,
Not yet. One
not yet.
day. I think I'll have time 2 weeks from now to do
All
it
right.
because I took 2 days off
So
from
this is
work.
episode 15. By episode 18,
Hopefully,
it'll
no
be there.
guarantees.
Apple Podcast.
I mean, I can guarantee that I'll start looking into it. I can't guarantee that whatever the problem is will be fixed, because if it's just not fixable by me, then I mean, what am I gonna do? But
Yeah.
there must be a way to fix it. It's just I don't know if I'm gonna
Honestly,
be able to do it
let's be
myself.
real. Let's be real. There might not even be a problem. Maybe I just did it wrong. Like you could just do it, set it up, boom, bang, boom, it's set up.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know what I did. I think I like made an Apple ID. I don't know what I made the password.
Oh, great.
Oh, it's
I feel
probably
like
in our pin messages or something.
yeah, somewhere in there. I'm think it was Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and there was like one other one.
Yeah.
Mark.
There it's all on Anchor to say which ones are connected and which ones aren't.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out.
Also,
I'll work on it.
side note, I think my taste buds are changing. I think they're actively changing as the day progresses. Or I got a bad batch of Coke. This shit tastes nasty. I opened one yesterday, nasty. I opened this one today, nasty. They're both from the same 6-pack. I either got a bad batch, like it tastes like cinnamon.
It could be a bad batch. Yeah, it could have been like a bad syrup to whatever ratio
I think
or
it is.
whatever that
It's
went into it.
disgusting. I keep drinking it, but it's nasty. It also is like spurting, like it's carbonation. Like it just exploded on me. Did he die? Oh my god, I lost internet. Oh no. Oh, hang on.
Yeah. Hey, I
Okay,
can hear
we're
you.
back. No, I lost internet for a second. I paused the recording.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Um, but yeah, so
Must be like still
basically,
going in and out.
nasty. I don't know. Also, like the bottles are sticky. Like something happened at the factory. I might die. I might have some contamination. Oh, he's frozen again. Um, okay. My internet's back. Okay, my internet's
You're
hello?
back again.
Yeah, I'm back again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end it before anything else happens. Thanks everyone for listening, watching. You didn't hear it here first. You didn't hear it here last. You heard it here. Pause. Dot. Dot. Pause. Dot. Dot. Pause. Dot. Eventually.